When Metroid Dread was released in 2021, it had been almost 19 full years since the release of its predecessor, Metroid Fusion. For diehards like myself, it was more than worth the wait. However, that sequel gap is chump change compared to Beyond the Ice Palace 2, which is releasing to modern consoles a full 37 years after the original. As the opening cinematic tells us, the chosen hero of the original game successfully defeated the evil witch of the Ice Palace. The era of the gods continued to choose him over the years as he ruled the people as king. Others in his inner circle grew jealous, leading them to poison him, imprison him, and shatter the god's arrow. Your first action as the player is to yank the chains from the wall and then proceed to use them as your primary weapon in your quest for vengeance. One of the promotional images for the game says, "Wield the chains that imprisoned you," and that phrase goes way harder than it has any right to. You're able to aim your chains in any direction to attack enemies, swing across gaps, or pull obstacles. You also have a stamina bar for dodges, charge attacks, and deflecting projectiles. In case it wasn't clear from every millisecond of footage, Beyond the Ice Palace 2 is heavily inspired by Castlevania. In the time I've spent with it, this is mostly from the setting, enemies, and moveset, but there have also been scattered instances of paths or chests that were inaccessible until I obtained a new ability. In one such instance, I think I acquired the ability about 5 minutes after noticing an out-of-reach chest, so this aspect of the genre doesn't seem to be quite as prevalent as it was in games like Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. In fact, there's less exploration in general than you might expect from a game that is so similar to Castlevania, at least aesthetically. I ventured into 4 or 5 different areas, each with at least one fast travel point, but no regional maps to be found. The Fallen King's path to vengeance is one that is largely linear, but with a game this challenging, maybe that's for the best. I wouldn't call it a Souls-like by any means, but even standard enemies can test your skills if you're not careful. This is where I've run into some frustration. Even with some slightly more modern accommodations like directional attacks and perfect dodges, the combat can still feel pretty old school in its execution. The directional attacks, and even directional grappling and swinging, don't feel quite as intuitive as you'd hope, which can lead to taking hits. And again, even against standard enemies, you can't exactly take a ton of those hits before being killed. This isn't a deal breaker by any means, but certainly something worth bringing up. Overall, I've enjoyed my time with Beyond the Ice Palace 2. The developers clearly hold a reverence for 16-bit action platformers and Metroidvanias, and crafted this game accordingly. While they aren't all equally well executed, there are a handful of modern touches to help you from feeling too stuck in the past as you set off on your adventure. If anything you've seen or heard seems up your alley, it's available now on PC and consoles. Thank you to the publishers at PQube and PixelHeart, the developers at Storybird Studio, and the folks at Lurkit for providing the review copy of this game. For more information, you can follow the affiliate link in the description. How have you been enjoying Beyond the Ice Palace 2? Let me know in the comments. And as always, play what you love and love what you play.